Okay, so in this video, guys, I'm going to tell you guys one fact about each fruit. Starting off with the rocket fruit, which is the worst fruit in the game, and it used to be the kilo fruit during update 15, but it got removed and replaced by the rocket fruit during update 20. So second fruit is the second worst fruit in my opinion, which is the spin fruit. And guess what? The spin fruit got reworked in update 20 as well, but it did not get removed. So there's a fun fact for you about the spin fruit. So next up, we have the blade fruit, which used to be called the chop fruit. But now it got reworked since we're in update 25, and it got a special ability that it didn't used to have, which is the M1s. So the next fruit that we have is the spring fruit, and a interesting fact that it's faster than light in the second sea bridge all the way to the what's it called? The grass field or something like that, but it's one of the fastest fruit in the game in that bridge, because with its F move it can just bounce off the bridge and be faster than light. So next up we have the bomb fruit, the fifth fruit, which is one of the cheapest fruit but with a high amount of damage. And that move that has a high amount of damage is called landmines. So basically what it does, it's just pure landmines. And if your enemy or target lands in all of them, or a high amount of landmines, they will probably die. So next up, we have the smoke fruit, the sixth fruit on our list. So basically the interesting fact about this fruit, that its flight move can actually be good for grinding. So basically what it does is you fly up and then drop smoke bombs on your enemies. Okay, next up we have the mini dough, or the baby dough, or the dough from Temu, because this fruit is known as that name because they call it that because of its ability so similar to the dough awakened or unawakened, because the spike barrage and spike summon looks so similar to the pastry river ground type move. Okay, next up we have the flame fruit, which is the first fruit to ever get a B2, so the raid and awakening. Okay, next up we have the falcon fruit, which is one of the first beast fruit you can ever afford in your blox fruit grinding journey. And it's the first beast fruit to not get a transformation. Okay, next up we're going into our double digits with a strong start, which is the ice fruit. And one interesting fact about the ice fruit, it's that it's one of the only fruits with an M1 and that can walk on water. And plus, it's like one of the fruits with most stun in the game. So next up we have the sand fruit, which is one of the only fruits in the game with a passive ability that affects the user in a negative way, which is getting 2 times damage in water. So next up we have the dark fruit, our number 12. And did you know that the dark fruit doesn't have only one teleportation move? It actually has 2, which is dimensional slash. Basically what it does, if you hit a NPC or enemy, they will switch their positions, I think, or you will get TP'd to them. So now we have the diamond fruit. Did you know that the diamond fruit before update 25, it used to not have any M1? And now they reworked it to have a dash ability that is the M1. And did you know that the transformation is actually a attack by itself? So to de-transform the diamond fruit, basically you have to hold it instead of tapping it or clicking it. And if you click it, basically what it does, it's like a explosion damage. So next up, we're in the rare category with the light fruit. And did you know that the light fruit actually has one of the fastest flight in the game? And plus, it's one of the best grinding fruits in the second and first sea. So next up, we have the rubber fruit, which is the first fruit ever created in blox fruits. And did you know that my game 43 and Rip Indra actually are brothers, and they were intersting into one piece? So why not add the main character's fruit as the first fruit ever in their game? Moving on to the barrier fruit, which is one of the best fruits for trolling noobs and whatever people you want in blox fruits. And plus, one of the best abilities of this barrier fruit is called the barrier prison, where you block yourself and your enemy, and then you can control the wall around them. So basically, it's like a little hamster ball that you put your enemy into, and you can shoot them into the sky. So if you're a new player, you might not know this fact about the ghost fruit in blox fruits. So basically, this interesting fact is that before update 20, it actually used to be an uncommon fruit that was called the revive fruit. But now, its rarity spiked up to a rare fruit and changed the name to ghost fruit. Okay, next up we have the magma fruit, which has one of the longest range, which is the magma shower. And you might wonder, wait, the magma shower doesn't have even that good of a range. But actually no. If you do it up from 2,000 meters and then use the move will not vanish mid-air. It will land on the land. So next up, we have the quake fruit, which is one of the fruits with the highest AoE moves. And I'm talking about the sea quake here, which can cover the whole pirate island. Okay, next up we have the Buddha fruit, which did you know that the symbols around the awakened Buddha actually mean something? And the first layer of text actually is in a different language than the second layer of text. So next up, we have the love fruit, which is one of the interesting facts that it has. It's that if you use controller and use your flamingo right, normally it would black out your fighting style, your gun and your sword. But actually what it does, if you're playing on a console, what it does, basically it lets you use your fighting style and everything else. Next up, we have the spider fruit. And did you know that one of the spider fruit moves actually is affected by the hockey color of the user? And that move is called Heavenly Punishment. And if you use it with a rainbow hockey, it will change colors. Okay, did you know that the sound fruit was actually the first fruit that was a fan-made fruit? And basically, the interesting fact about this fruit that it has the same abilities of the venom fruit. And you might wonder, wait, the venom fruit? No, I'm talking about the ability, the passive of the flight move. So basically, if it's low HP, it goes faster. And if it's high HP, it's lower speed. Okay, next up with our number 24, there's actually a pretty interesting fact about the phoenix fruit. Did you know that the phoenix fruit original name was bird phoenix? Not just phoenix, it was bird phoenix. And an interesting fact about it too is that the phoenix fruit was actually one of the first fruits added to an update. Okay, next up we have the portal fruit. And did you know that the portal fruit actually was used to be named door fruit, but because of copyright reasons, blox fruits took the door fruit down and replaced it by the portal fruit. And the door fruit wasn't actually that good, so it was like a glow up. So next up we have the rumble fruit. And did you know that the rumble fruit has a teleportation dash ability where basically there's a glitch on it. So basically what you do is spam that move, and normally there's only 3. But actually you can get extra dashes by spamming it fast. Okay, next up we have the pain fruit. Which, did you know that the original name of the pain fruit was actually the paw fruit? And did you know they haven't reworked the animations of the pain fruit in a while, since the day they added the paw fruit and the pain fruit. So next up we have the blizzard fruit. And did you know that the all of Blizzard's fruit move actually are chargeable? Okay, moving on to the gravity fruit, which I know everyone thinks it's a mid fruit and it shouldn't even be in the game. But did you know that the day that the gravity fruit has been reworked, one boss actually has the unreworked gravity fruit, and that it actually looks way better reworked, because it's like a super AoE, and the boss I'm talking about is the Vegeta boss. Go fight him and see for yourself. Moving from the gravity fruit to the mammoth fruit, and the interesting fact about the mammoth fruit that it has a move called Colossal Crusher, and the special part about that move is that it can pull your enemy to you, so it's easier to make combos with that move. Okay, next up we are moving to the T-Rex fruit. And did you know that the T-Rex shares the same value of the mammoth? And the funny fact that mammoth and T-Rex are below gravity. Which, you know what killed the dinosaurs, right? Next up, we have the dough fruit. And sorry for my mistake, because the dough fruit is actually one of the 2 fruits which can get affected by the user's color hockey. And sorry for saying that at the spider fruit, that it's only the spider fruit affected by the user's color hockey. Next up, we have the shadow fruit. And did you know that the shadow fruit is the only fruit in the game that can get affected by the time in the day? So basically, what it does at night, it fuels your umbra meter passively. Okay, next up, we have the venom fruit. And did you know that the venom's flight move can actually deal damage if you're nearby your enemy, like touching them with the flight move? And plus, if you're low HP and you use the flight move, it should go a little bit faster. So moving from the venom fruit onto the control fruit. And did you know that the control fruit is the only fruit in the game that can actually boost a sword? And the sword I'm talking about is the Coco. Okay, next up we have the gas fruit. And did you know that the gas fruit is actually the first mythical and elemental type fruit? And plus, did you know that when you're into your gas condensation mode, which is that transformation, suffocating fumes and deadly and another move I think can interact to make an explosion. Okay, next up we have the spirit fruit. And did you know that the spirit fruit actually used to be named soul fruit? And instead of the demon and angel, it used to be a lightning cloud and a sun. And it got removed because of copyright reasons again. So moving from the spirit all the way to the leopard, did you know that the leopard fruit whole moveset used to not take any energy? Not none of energy. But they patched that since it was too OP. Okay, next fruit is the Yeti fruit. And did you know that the Yeti fruit glacial execution actually has two types of move? If you do it straight on the ground, it will grab your enemy and smash them into the ground. But if you use it mid-air, you will grab your enemy and throw them into the ground. Okay, next up we have the kitsune fruit. And did you know that the kitsune fruit is the second fan-made fruit in the game? And plus, did you know it's based on a true ancient in a mythic creature from I think Japan or something like that. I don't know. Not to discriminate, okay? Not to discriminate, but I don't know. Search it up, but it is true that it is based on a mythical creature. Okay, next up we have the dragon fruit. And did you know that the dragon fruit actually has one of the highest damage reduction? And it's the first fruit to ever have a physical variant, which is the eastern and the western fruit. And it is the first fruit to have two different whole transformations. And that concludes every single fact about every single blox fruit in the game. And if you're like at the end hearing me right now, could you please sub and like this video? I really appreciate it. It took me 2 days to make this video. Well, I know 2 days isn't a lot compared to other YouTubers, but please don't be too rough on me, please. Well, bye. Thanks for watching.